So the British Council's work in higher education in Sub-Saharan Africa currently aims to foster a culture of entrepreneurship and innovation within higher education institutions. As a part of that, in South Africa, we partnered with Humanities South Africa with the Entrepreneurship Development in Higher Education program to support them in executing a piece of research, a mapping study that looked at all that's happening across the innovation ecosystem in the 26 public universities. One of the recommendations from that study was to have a look at the commercialization of non-STEM related research.
Commercialization of HAS, fortunately, it is an avenue that requires collaboration. So it really tempers with that silo mentality or silo approach of working. So it is an opportunity for me that I think it will respond to that challenge of silo approach of doing things.
So Oxentia has been supporting researchers across all subjects for over a decade, and we've found that in the recent years there's been a real uptake of support for arts, humanities and social sciences, because traditionally there was more focus on the science, technology, engineering and math subjects, STEM. So now there's an emphasis on trying to support researchers in this other area of HAS, and we really want to work with academics and knowledge exchange professionals all over the world so that we can really support commercialisation across all subjects, not just STEM. This is for Oxentia to be able to provide support across the board of all disciplines.
The impact agenda has moved up in terms of priorities. Academics are interested in the intellectual work. That is their core business, but there's also a growing sense of what change are we going to create in the world. And I think if we can frame this kind of activity in ways that make sense to them, then we'll see both a lot more tech transfer activity and a lot more social impact and increased financial sustainability for the universities, which in turn actually translates into a form of increased political sustainability.
So there was a finding that there's lots of attention, funding being directed at STEM research commercialization, but very little awareness about how to commercialize non-STEM related research. And that essentially gave birth to this initiative, which is now being delivered by the British Council with the support of the Human Sciences Research Council and Humanities South Africa's EDHE program. And the aim of this program is to stimulate the commercialization of non-STEM related research by building the capacity of the academics and tech transfer managers or professionals to be able to stimulate and increase the outputs of research that is translated into products and services from non-STEM related disciplines.
In general, there has to be a mindset shift, in terms of dealing with commercialization within the HAS field, that is humanities, arts and social sciences, and that so some of the key barriers include language.
I don't think funding necessarily is the biggest issue. I think we need to get a mindset change in people in humanities. I mean, people who want to do business go study business. They don't go study humanities. So a lot of people in humanities have got projects that could be suitable for commercialization, and it's not being commercialized because they just don't care, or they never actually spot the opportunity.
I think researchers has got an ethical responsibility to give back to communities, and that doesn't always happen. So we need to, so that slowly but surely we're starting to put in more of those ethical guidelines, specifically so that what happens after your research. But we know that as students often, they want a master's degree. What do you want to do? Okay, you want that for yourself, but what has your research that was for a community, and what are you going to do with that research?
So for me, what I'm seeing with the HAS is just to make sure that whenever they design a project, they must think of the user. They must not design the project and after designing it and went to the user. And I think this is where the challenges are with the HAS. They, for instance, they will develop a policy, and after developing a policy, They want to take it to the user, for the user to use it. And that becomes a challenge because the user, we're not part and parcel of developing that policy. So you cannot develop something else and expect me to use it. You should have seen to me and see, where are the challenges? What is the pain? What is the problem? And then let's start working together.
I think part of also what we discussed was how do we also kind of create multidisciplinary collaborations where we could take someone from engineer, for example, link with an artist in a museum, for example. So I think those opportunities now, we have a better understanding of how we can actually make them a reality than just a theoretical understanding.
I think initiating the conversations regarding commercialization earlier, I think that again it ties to awareness. It's just that in the arts and social sciences, the awareness isn't there from the get-go. And it doesn't mean, as Dr. Galada said now, there's no it's not that they have to commercialize everything, but that publication isn't the only avenue that you can explore, that there are just other opportunities as well.
There's so many things to take back, but I think the biggest thing is the mechanisms and how you commercialize has to work. So that's like, you know, if you're gonna do this thing, step one is you've got to get industry engagement, and one of the big tools is the consulting contracts. So once you've got that in place and you get industry engagement, you build the networks, and then you start to really unpack the products, almost so software and hardware and so on. So it's been fascinating to see it. Learned a lot from Oxentia, the Oxford team, Cambridge, and LSE as well. So brilliant, yeah.
We hope that this is just a first step in building those skills, especially in the humanities, arts and social sciences, the HAS community. And we also hope that it's going to build more connections between South African universities and the UK ecosystem in innovation.